There we go. I'm just going to start it.
Just doing a little presentation. Hey, boys. How are you?
Good.
So I don't think it had started recording because it just said stand by still.
Uh-oh.
So my name is Andrew. Just doing this to finish up my bachelor's degree with Akron University. I also work at Rainbow Babies and Children's in their NICU. And SIDS is a big epidemic here in Cleveland, as well as Cuyahoga County. And Ohio is one of the worst in the country. It's gotten better. We've done quite a bit to improve. So I just want to first tell just a little bit about like SIDS and kind of where we're at. So what SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome, if you didn't know. And it's just with unexplained death of a seemingly healthy child. It could happen between like a month and a year old is where they put the definition at. And so just some facts from the National Institute of Health. It's the leading cause of death. From 2010 on, we've had more than 2,000 babies that have died in the country. And between that 1 and 4 month spot is the area that we see the most deaths happen. And it can be sudden, unexplained, like they can do an autopsy on the baby and there's no rhyme or reason, like they don't have a heart defect, which would explain things. But they don't know why. And a lot of the times it has to do with the environment that the baby is sleeping in. We say, they've been preaching the ABCs of safe sleep, and that's always alone, always on their back, and always in a crib, or bassinet. So, because it just puts the baby at more risk if they're in the bed with somebody. Some people, they may say, oh, I don't toss around or anything, but then you roll over and you don't move. And the baby, not that anybody does that on purpose or anything, exhaustion and everything. So it's slightly more boys than girls that have been found to die. Early on, it was a lot during like the colder months that we saw more babies would die at those times, but over the years, it's actually kind of just evened out over the course of the year. And even like different ethnic groups, you'd see more one way than the other, but it's all kind of coming together to be like evened out. It wouldn't matter like what ethnic group you were in or not. So we've done, so who's at risk for SIDS? And these are just things that we see commonly. That over the years they've done studies and they've looked at everything. Babies are sleeping on their stomachs. With that, like if they're on their stomachs and then they move their head and they're face planting in the pillow or in a cot or wherever, they're just breathing back in that CO2. When our CO2 levels rise, we go into a deeper sleep. And usually our brain will kick in and tell us, hey, you need to breathe. But then they can't move their head because they don't have that musculature in their necks to turn like left or right so they get some fresh air. So another one is soft surfaces, adult mattresses, couches, chairs on somebody, or soft coverings. If they're on that, again, even if they're on their back in an adult bed, their heads, they're going to go chin to chest because they don't have that structure in their neck, and they have little airways. And so with that, they're going to cut off their airway, and they're not going to be able to breathe, and they're going to suffocate. So that's another one. And then under any like loose bedding, like any blankets, they say just say one layer of clothing, like a sleeper, will do it. And that'll keep them warm. We don't need like a ton of like layers. We don't need a blanket over them. We don't. They'll stay warm in a normally, heated environment. And like I said, getting too hot during sleep because it gets them too relaxed where their respirations are, or their breathing is so subdued that they're not breathing effectively. They might be breathing enough, but it's like shallow breathing. So they're not taking full breaths, they're not getting rid of all that carbon dioxide that we're exchanging in the body to get rid of. So when you take air in and then you exhale, you're getting rid of CO2. And then, this is a big thing, is, smoking during or after baby's born. Those are big risks because, again, that's, they're breathing in toxins that their bodies can't handle, and they're not going to be taking that deep breath once again that they need to. And these are just some examples of, of the risks that they've seen with the adult smoking, or like if they're sleeping with somebody that had smoked or had alcohol or is tired. Blankets covering them, quilts covering them. The quilts, like even if they can breathe through them, there's like pockets where like what they've exhaled is going to sit there and it's not going to go away from them, and so they're going to breathe that back in. And so that would be, an issue there. And then these are just some of the numbers from 2016 for, Ohio and Cuyahoga County. The one that hits really close to home, because we do have a large African American population here in Cleveland, is that there's 15.2 deaths per 1,000 live births here. So in Ohio, and then Cuyahoga County in itself was 8.7, which is higher than the state. But we've done a lot over the last couple of years that we've gotten involved with Babies Need Boxes. And it's an organization that came together to help fight SIDS here in the United States. A great organization, and we're helping provide these boxes, which I'll show you here in a few, just to give a safe environment for the baby. It has a mattress, and they have like a starter kit that comes with it. And it's just nice that, mom or dad can put the baby in the box and, on the floor, or, somewhere where it's not going to get knocked off or anything, obviously. But the floor would be the safest, and there's nothing in there for them to, get hurt from trying to get a nice little rest. So in Cleveland, they also have another group they call Moms First, and they found in 2016 that without the education of just knowing about SIDS and how to have babies sleeping and everything safely, that they're 10.2 per 1,000 births of live births that they found died. But then with the education, that number dropped nearly half, which is pretty awesome. And this is actually 5.4 for 2016. It is actually below, there's a government initiative called Healthy People 2020, and they have a whole bunch of goals for the country. And to get births down to below 6 per 1,000 is their goal. And Moms First is doing a great job with their education and everything. So. And then just some things that we know from 2012 to 2016, always, like I've said, always on your back, always in a crib, always alone. And especially from 2012 to 2016, just found the statistic that, which is pretty devastating, 3 infants per week died from sleep-related deaths. And so, these kinds of statistics are why we've, hit the ball rolling with just educating everybody. Doesn't matter if you have a kid or not. Even the YMCA, they do certifications or whatever for babysitting, and like those people need to know, ways of keeping babies safe. And this was just our national ranking of, in 2013, we were ranked 45 out of 50 states, which is really bad. And then the black infants were second highest at 13.57, which is incredible for Ohio. And that was back, I want to say 2015. And so, and it was twice as likely that a black infant would die than a white infant. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's an education thing, or if it's whatever it is. But that's why we're getting into educating and everything. So, so more into what I really want to teach about, because statistics, I hate looking at statistics. They're not fun. The numbers are not fun to look at. But what does a safe sleep environment look like? And that's what a safe sleep environment looks like. No bumpers, just a firm mattress, fitted sheet, the baby's in a nice sleeper. And if it's during the summer and it's decently warm in the room, just put a onesie on them. It works. They stay warm. Their bodies are made to do. There's just and all the other things I've talked about, not having sheets, not smoking around the baby, having a crib that's safety approved and everything. And the big thing, people like to make their babies beds look all cute and cozy and everything, but the bumpers, they're not good anymore, because if they move so much that they could move right up against, and their head's right there and they're breathing right into that bumper. So as I've said, the reason we got into these is because of Finland, these baby boxes. Finland, back in 1938, had one of the worst numbers in the world. There are 65 out of 1,000 live births that would die. So they got it, and they handed out these boxes to all the lower income mothers, and it was so good that they started giving them out to even the upper class, like everybody. And so they have one of the best leading rates of SIDS now. They used to be like the number one in the world, and I think they're like 2 or 3 now, but they still have, it's very rare that they have a SIDS death anymore. And this is kind of what their numbers looked like back in 1938. And that's up to 2010. So, but that was after they started handing out these boxes. They had little spikes, but they came down dramatically. So, if you know anybody, they can go to babyboxuniversity.com, or it's babybox. Yeah. Well, you can just go to Google, and you can go Baby Box University. It'll take you to where you need to go, and there's some education on there. There's about 20 minutes of videos, and then you do a quiz. You give them their information as far as where to send stuff to. They also have pickups, I believe, at Rainbow. So if you just don't want them to send it to your place of residence, that's they make it so it's available to get. And then these boxes are pretty durable and everything. This is what comes in a starter kit. And they have them where you can put it together for a baby shower, and they have a bunch of other things that you can add to it, or you can just, add to it from the stores or whatever. So, biggest thing is once they're damaged, don't use them. Just call them and you can get another one. And, because at that point they're not safe for the baby to be in. So, and this is what a happy, healthy, chunky little baby looks like. She's on her back alone in a crib / baby box. That's what she should look like, and she looks happy, and that's what we want. That's our goal. and for her to grow up and have every opportunity to do whatever she wants, and not to have her life, cut short. So that is what I have. And then this box I actually show you. So these are just nice.
Is it cardboard?
Yeah.
What happens if it gets wet?
I don't know that these will get